You may remember the name Jonathan Smith. He was partly responsible for such Spectrum classics as Daley Thompson's Super Test or Batman the Cape Crusader. He had a great career with Ocean and Imagine Software throughout the mid to late 80s. He was also responsible for one of the strangest games I can ever remember. A game in which you must collect puddings, a game in which you play a heroin-addled Pac-Man with wings, a game set in a terrifying world of acid trips strewn with disembodied hands and half-melted spectrums. Pud Pud, also known as Pud Pud in Weird World, aptly, was Jonathan Smith's first foray into gaming, and it's the game which landed him a job at Ocean. I can't imagine a stranger beginning for anyone's gaming career, but even weirder, it was caught on a documentary from 1984 called Commercial Breaks. Here's a clip.
16-year-old Jonathan Smith has just walked in with Pud Pud, a game that he wrote at home.
The Weird World.
What's the object of the game, Jonathan? What's the thing?
Sales director Paul Finnegan helps to assess the merits of Pud Pud and of its young author.
It's about a town livestock. You have to collect 10 puddings.
How long did it take to write this from the
About
beginning?
7 weeks.
7 weeks? And how long have you been programming?
About a year.
About a year.
A young Jonathan Smith there, almost looking ashamed of what he had created. Now, Pud Pud is a difficult game, and its difficulty is solely related to being constantly depleted of health. This titular demonic entity will lose energy as soon as the game begins, and to keep that energy from hitting rock bottom, you need to keep Pud Pud fed. What does Pud Pud eat? Birds, bats, worms, but not other Pud Puds. Cannibalism is one area that Pud Pud is very clear about. Cannibalism is an affront to Pud Pud's people. They're not savages. There are a few other creatures which will sap your health. These bubble things, for instance, but most of this you'll have to work out on your own. There's no real instructions with Pud Pud, no inlay that provides any hints. The goal is simply to eat 10 puddings. These puddings are randomly placed on the map each time you play, and the second won't appear until you find the first, and the third won't appear until you find the second, etc, etc. Now the total map size is 225 rooms. That makes for an enormous game of creepy hide and seek. Normally before I begin to review a game I like to at least get to the end screen, but Jesus, I can't even rely on a guide for this one. The puddings could literally be anywhere. My top score ended up being 6 before I accidentally ate a bubble and died. Let me just repeat that. Out of context. I almost completed the game by eating 6 out of 10 puddings, but I accidentally ate a bubble and died. That sentence alone weirds me out. Graphically, the game's fairly impressive for what it does. Animation's choppy but cheerful, controls are simple and responsive, and the overall weirdness of the game is something I personally find endearing. Even Pud Pud's death sequence has a touch of the LSDs about it. When all is said and done, there's not a lot that can be said about Pud Pud. It's a curio, a piece of gaming history that will almost certainly never be repeated. Stands out as an average game, knocked up a point or two by being so overtly bizarre. I can't help but admire what it does. It's a tough game, a game that offers decent replayability if you enjoy its core mechanics. It's Pud Pud. You eat puddings and albatross. If that sentence alone entices you, then buy. And I mean, listen, for all the weirdness Pud Pud throws at you, at least the title music's good. Just listen to this. Jesus!